Um, did your daily life change at all during the war? Any normal thing that you did, was it affected at all?
Well, yeah, while I was in the military, it did, obviously. I told you I had orders to go to Thailand. Um, we were technical advisors. We would have been technical advisors to the Thai Air Force, but they were changed at the last minute, and then I wound up in Florida. Um, I think I was more influenced by the missiles going into Cuba. That seemed to be more. It was closer to home. You know, it had a more of an influence on me, and plus the fact that I was, although we didn't know it because it was highly secretive. Our radar um, outfit was tracing or tracking a lot of the flights over Cuba as they were taking pictures of the missiles down there. So from that point of view, it affected me in that I spent, I guess, about more than 6 months down in the tip of Florida without, there was no leave, there was no going home for a week or two or anything, any break like that. Um, that's about the only way it influenced me. Well, then of course, as I said, it also provided me the opportunity to finish college. With that's how it influenced.
Yeah. Did your opinion of the war differ from those of your friends or family? And did those differences, if any, cause any tension between you and other people or affect your personal relationships?
No. As I said, I never thought that they did a bad job and that they, should have been chastised for it or anything. The friends of mine who came back home, they just came back home and we just picked up life as normal. We, went to school, we played golf, we did our things, whatever it was that we did before, pretty much stayed the same. Now, obviously, there were no relatives that were killed in the war. Um, well, I shouldn't say that. Your mother's cousin was killed in Vietnam, but that was before I met her. So I really was, it was in the early days of the war, probably back in the, I don't know, early 60s. So, other than that, everybody that I knew kind of like came back. And we just picked up life as it had been and went on.
From what media source did you most frequently hear about the Vietnam War? Did you hear about from newspapers, TV, or like family members or friends?
Television and newspaper, although it was highly edited, but that's where most of the news came from. We didn't communicate with the people that were over there.
Did you ever worry that the war was going to escalate in any way?
No. In fact, I didn't believe in the domino theory. Only because, I don't know, I didn't think it could happen. I didn't think that there were the forces that they had, the armed forces that the Vietnamese had, or the communists had, would have been able to continue to steamroll over Southeast Asia or, even in the Orient. But maybe I was naive at the time, but at the time I just didn't think that it would happen. And it didn't. Even after they won the war, even after the North effectively won the war and then, combined North and South Vietnam into one country again, that's where it stopped. It didn't go any farther.
Did you notice any changes in society and culture, like movies or television shows during the war?
can't say that I did. I don't know. I'd have to really go back. That's too far back. I don't think I did.
Okay. And what was your response to the protest music written during the time?
The what?
The protest music.
Oh, the music itself?
Yeah.
I mean, Bob Dylan and the boys?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question. I have no recollection of it influencing me one way or another. Maybe because I'd been in the service, I came out, and I went to school, and I was busy raising a family, and it didn't seem to affect me day to day personally.
And do you have any other memories about the war that just stand out to you? Anything relating to anyone who served over there, or anything that happened while you were at home that relates to the war in some way?
No. I don't recall. I did have one guy who came to work for me who was exposed to Agent Orange, and he was when I worked in Philadelphia. He was one of the guys that reported to me. What other effects would have had? He didn't. I don't think it affected him. He was still a pretty intelligent individual. He was able to, perform his function, his work, what have you. But I think he had a child that, Agent Orange was affecting the offspring of the guys that were over there. So, what was the question again? I probably went off on a tangent there.
No. Any other memories about the war? Any hearing about anything from anyone or what have you?
No. I mean, my brother served on a carrier, and he came back and told some stories, but they were not. It was not the gory details of war, because he was obviously on a carrier out at sea. He wasn't right there in the country. Funny thing is, most of the guys I knew who came back, they didn't talk about it. And you couldn't even, even if you started to ask them questions about it, it was like evidence that you don't want to know. It was that kind of thing. So it wasn't a lot of sitting around and talking about it. I don't know where the guys who wrote the protest songs, where they were over there. You'll still see a lot of them now. You see guys going around with POW flags and MIA flags on their motorcycles and on their thing. Obviously they were affected by it. They were either over there or they made believe they were over there. You never knew who actually had been over there unless you knew the person themselves. But as I said, we didn't talk about it. Hey, glad to see you made it back, and that would be about it. And then we just went about our life.